The massive alien ship appeared near Earth's moon without warning. It was nothing like the sleek vessels humans had imagined in their stories. This ship looked like a floating mountain made of dark metal and strange crystals that glowed with purple light. Ambassador Zethric stood on the bridge of his vessel, looking down at the small blue planet through the viewing screen. His 4 arms moved across the control panels, while his large, black eyes studied the data. Earth looked so peaceful from space. The humans living there had no idea how much trouble they were in. Zethric belonged to the Veltar Empire, one of the 12 species that ruled the galaxy through the Galactic Hegemony Council. For over 3,000 years, his people and their allies had kept peace among the stars. They decided which species could travel between worlds, where new colonies could be built, and how trade would happen across the galaxy. The humans had broken every rule without even knowing the rules existed. "Send the communication request," Zethric ordered his crew member. His voice made a clicking sound that his translation device turned into words the humans could understand. On Earth's moon, a small space station received the alien signal. The humans working there had been expecting this day for months. They had seen the alien ships moving through their solar system, watching and studying. Now the aliens were ready to talk. Secretary General Chen Martinez sat in the station's main meeting room. She was a small woman with gray hair and tired eyes. But everyone who met her quickly learned she was much stronger than she looked. Around the table sat Earth's top military leaders, scientists, and diplomats. They all knew this moment would change everything. The large screen on the wall flickered to life. AmbassadorZethric's alien face appeared, and several humans in the room took quick breaths. His skin was dark blue with silver markings, and his 4 eyes blinked one at a time. When he spoke, his mouth full of sharp teeth moved in ways that looked very strange. "People of Earth," Zethric began. "I am Ambassador Zethric of the Veltar Empire, speaking for the Galactic Hegemony Council. We have been watching your species for some time." Martinez nodded politely. "Welcome, Ambassador. I am Secretary General Martinez, representing the United Earth Government. We are honored by your visit." Zethric made a sound that might have been laughter. "You should not feel honored. You should feel worried. Your species has been breaking galactic law for years." The humans around the table stayed quiet, but Martinez could feel their tension. They had prepared for this conversation, but hearing it actually happen felt different than practice. "We have watched your ships travel to other star systems without permission," Zethric continued. "You have built colonies on worlds that belong to the Council. You have ignored all proper protocols for new species entering galactic society." "We were not aware of any protocols," Martinez replied calmly. "This is our first contact with galactic civilization. Ignorance is not an excuse."Zethric's 4 eyes all focused on Martinez. "Every species learns these rules when they first travel between stars. But humans seem to think they can do whatever they want." The alien ambassador touched something on his control panel. New images appeared on the screen, showing human colonies on distant worlds, human ships traveling through space, and human research stations in systems far from Earth. "The Council has decided to be merciful," Zethric announced. "We will give humanity one chance to avoid punishment. You must follow these terms exactly." Martinez leaned forward in her chair. "What terms?" "First, all human ships must return to your solar system immediately. Second, you must destroy all colonies outside this system. Third, you must surrender your military vessels to Council forces. Fourth, Earth will become a protected species under Council management." General Harrison, sitting to Martinez's right, made an angry noise. "Protected species? What does that mean?" Zethric's teeth showed in what humans would call a smile, but it did not look friendly. "It means the Council will decide what is best for humanity. We will control your population, your technology, and your expansion. You will live safely on your homeworld, under our guidance." "Like a zoo," Dr. Sarah Chen, the Secretary General's daughter and head of Earth's Xenobiology Department, said quietly. "Like a reservation," Martinez corrected, her voice staying calm even as anger filled her chest. "The Council has made this offer to every new species we encounter," Zethric explained. Every species has accepted within hours of first contact. It is always better than the alternative. And what is the alternative? Martinez asked. Zethric's forearms spread wide. Complete destruction of your species and all your works. The Council has done this to species who refuse to cooperate. We prefer not to, but we will if necessary. The room fell silent. Everyone could hear the air recycling systems humming and the quiet beeping of computers. Outside the station's windows, Earth hung in space like a beautiful blue marble. It looked so peaceful and safe. How long do we have to decide? Martinez asked. 30 standard days, Zethric replied. This is more time than most species receive. The Council believes humans may need extra time to understand the situation. Martinez nodded slowly. We appreciate the Council's patience. Do not mistake our patience for weakness, Zethric warned. In 30 days, we will return for your answer. If you have not agreed to our terms, we will begin enforcement actions immediately. The alien ambassador reached for his controls. I suggest you use this time to consider carefully. Look at your world, your people, your children. Think about whether your pride is worth their lives. Ambassador, Martinez said before he could close the communication. I have one question. Ask. Has any species ever said no to your offer? Zethric's 4 eyes all blinked at the same time. No. Every intelligent species understands that cooperation is better than extinction. I trust humans are intelligent enough to understand this as well. Martinez smiled a small, cold smile. We shall see. The communication ended, and the screen went dark. The room stayed quiet for a long moment. General Harrison was the first to speak. 30 days to surrender everything we've built, or they'll kill us all. That's what they said, Martinez agreed. So what do we do? Martinez stood up and walked to the window looking out at Earth. Her reflection looked tired and old, but her eyes were sharp and determined. General, please send a priority message to all human colonies, ships, and stations. Use Protocol 7. Dr. Chen looked surprised. Protocol 7? That's the complete communications blackout. Yes. As of right now, no human facility will send or receive any signals that alien forces can detect. Full radio silence across all human space. For how long? Harrison asked. Martinez continued looking at Earth, watching the clouds swirl over the continents where billions of humans lived, worked, loved, and hoped for the future. For as long as it takes to remind the galaxy why they should be afraid of us, Ambassador Zethric expected the humans to spend their 30 days begging. Every other species had done this. First came the desperate messages asking for better terms. Then the offers of tribute and submission. Finally, complete surrender with promises to obey every council rule. But the humans did something that had never happened before in 3,000 years of galactic history. They disappeared, not physically. Their cities still glowed with lights at night. Their factories still produced goods. Their transportation systems still moved people and cargo. But every communication device went silent at exactly the same moment across all human space. Zethric stood in the council chambers on the capital world of Hegemony Prime. The massive room was filled with representatives from all 12 ruling species. Above them, holographic displays showed star maps, fleet positions, and intelligence reports. Report, ordered High Counselor Vrath, the ancient leader of the Hegemony. Vrath's species, the Eternal Builders, had lived for thousands of years and seen the rise and fall of hundreds of civilizations. The humans stopped all communications exactly 6 days ago, Zethric reported. Our monitoring stations detect no transmissions from any human facility. Counselor Xeris of the Crystal Mines floated in her energy field, her thoughts creating visible patterns in the air around her. Have they evacuated their worlds? No. Thermal scans show normal population levels in all human cities. Their agricultural systems are still operating. Transportation continues on schedule. Then what are they doing? Asked Commander Brock of the Iron Legion, his mechanical body clicking as he moved. Zethric's 4 shoulders moved in what humans would recognize as a shrug. Unknown. Our infiltration attempts have failed. Every time we send a probe near a human facility, it simply stops working. High Counselor Vrath made a dismissive gesture with one of his 6 arms. Primitive fear behavior. They have retreated into isolation, hoping we will forget about them. But why go silent? Asked Dr. Nayla of the Wise Seekers. Her species valued knowledge above all else. Most species in panic send more communications, not fewer, because they are still primitive, Vrath explained. They think if they hide quietly, the danger will go away. Like small animals hiding from predators. Admiral Korthak of the Wartide spoke from his position near the military displays. His shark-like species had conquered half the galaxy before joining the Council. Perhaps we should take a fleet to Earth now, force them out of hiding. Patience, Vrath counseled. Let fear work for us. When they realize hiding will not save them, they will surrender completely. It is always better when species submit willingly. But as days passed, something strange happened. The Council's intelligence agencies began reporting problems. Not with the humans, but with their own operations. Several of our deep space monitoring stations have gone offline, reported Intelligence Director Thane during the next Council meeting. The stations were located in systems far from human space. Equipment failure? Asked Vrath. Unknown. The stations simply stopped transmitting. When we sent repair ships, the stations appeared to be functioning normally. But the crews found no one inside. Counselor Xeris created worried patterns in her energy field. How many stations? 17 so far. All in different sectors of space. Commander Brock's mechanical eyes glowed brighter. This could be sabotage. Perhaps the humans are more advanced than we believed. Impossible, Zethric protested. We have studied their technology. They have barely achieved faster than light travel. Their weapons are primitive chemical explosives and simple energy beams. Then explain the missing station crews, Brack challenged. Equipment malfunctions, accidents. These things happen. But more reports kept coming. Trading vessels reported strange encounters with unknown ships that appeared on sensors for moments before disappearing. Mining operations in remote systems found evidence that someone had been extracting resources, but no permits had been issued. Communication relays experienced mysterious signal disruptions. It must be the humans, Dr. Nayla insisted during an emergency session. The pattern started when they went silent. How could they coordinate such activities without communications? Vrath asked. Maybe they have communications we cannot detect. Every species uses the same basic principles for faster-than-light communication. There is only one way to send messages between star systems. Admiral Korthak studied the reports more carefully than the others. His species had been warriors for millions of years, and something about these incidents worried him. High Counselor, he said during a private meeting, I recommend we accelerate our timeline. Take a demonstration fleet to Earth now. Why the urgency, Admiral? In my species' history, we learned to recognize certain patterns. When an enemy goes completely silent before a battle, it usually means they are preparing something terrible. Vrath waved dismissively. The humans are not warriors. They are barely more than animals who learn to use tools. Then why are our people disappearing? Vrath considered this. The missing station crews bothered him more than he wanted to admit. Very well. Take a small force to Earth. 12 dreadnoughts should be sufficient to remind the humans of their situation. What are our rules of engagement? Disable any human ships you encounter, but do not destroy their world. We want them to surrender, not become martyrs. Admiral Korthak selected his finest ships and most experienced crews. 12 massive dreadnoughts, each one capable of destroying a planet's surface. The fleet represented more firepower than most species possessed in their entire military. As the ships prepared to depart for Earth, Korthak reviewed intelligence reports about human military capabilities. According to Council data, humans had perhaps 50 combat vessels total. All of primitive design, their largest ships were barely 1/10 the size of a Council dreadnought. This will be simple, his tactical officer reported. The humans cannot possibly resist a force of this size. Korthak nodded, but something still bothered him. In all his years of warfare, he had learned that when something seemed too easy, it usually was. The fleet departed for Earth, confident they would find a primitive species cowering in fear. They expected to face desperate resistance from a few small ships, deliver a crushing victory, and return home with human surrender documents. They had no idea they were flying into the most sophisticated trap in galactic history. During the fleet's journey, more disturbing reports reached the Council. A trading post in Sector 7 found all its automated defense systems had been quietly modified. Someone had improved the programming, made the weapons more efficient, and the shields stronger. But no one remembered authorizing the improvements or even seeing the people who made them. A mining corporation discovered that their operations on 12 different worlds were producing 30% more resources than expected. Again, someone had quietly upgraded their equipment and processes. The improvements were so subtle and helpful that no one had noticed for months. Someone has been helping our people, Dr. Nayela reported to the Council. These improvements require very advanced knowledge of our technology. Who would do this without announcing themselves? Xeris asked. Someone who has been watching us for a long time, Nayela replied. Someone who understands our systems better than we do. The realization hit the Council chamber like a cold wind. If someone had been secretly improving Council technology for months or years, they had been present throughout Council space without being detected. They had access to the most secure facilities and the most advanced systems. How long have they been among us? Vrath asked quietly. No one had an answer. But as Admiral Korthak's fleet approached Earth, the Council began to understand that they might have made a terrible mistake. The humans had not been hiding in fear. They had been preparing, and 30 days had been more than enough time for them to get ready. Admiral Korthak's fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. 12 massive dreadnoughts, their hulls gleaming with weapon ports and shield generators, moved in perfect formation toward the small blue world. Korthak stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Endless Victory. His shark-like features showed confidence as he studied the tactical displays. Everything looked exactly as the intelligence reports had predicted. Earth hung peacefully in space with no visible defenses. The moon's small space station transmitted normal civilian traffic. Several orbital factories continued their regular operations. A few commercial vessels moved between Earth and the outer planets, but no military ships appeared on the sensors. It is exactly as we expected, reported his tactical officer, Commander Sneck. The humans are completely defenseless. No orbital weapons platforms, no defensive fleets, no shield generators around their world. Scan for their military vessels, Korthak ordered. They must have hidden their ships somewhere in the system. The fleet's powerful sensors swept through space, searching behind planets, inside asteroid fields, and near the system's outer edge. They found mining operations, research stations, and cargo haulers, but no warships. Nothing, Admiral. We detect fewer than 30 human vessels in the entire system. All civilian. Korthak frowned. This seemed too easy. Are they hiding their ships somehow? Our sensors can detect a child's toy spaceship from 3 star systems away. There is nothing here that could threaten us. The Admiral decided to proceed with the plan. Open a communication channel to Earth. The main screen flickered to life, showing the interior of Earth's lunar space station. Secretary General Martinez appeared, sitting at the same conference table where she had first met Ambassador Zethric. She looked calm and rested, not like someone whose world was about to be destroyed. Secretary General Martinez, Korthak began, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had conquered hundreds of worlds. I am Admiral Korthak, of the Galactic Hegemony Council. Your 30 days of grace have ended. Good morning, Admiral, Martinez replied politely. I see you brought some friends. Korthak was surprised by her casual tone. Most species leaders begged or threatened when facing his fleet. The Council's patience is exhausted. You will surrender immediately and accept our terms. I'm afraid that won't be possible. Then, you choose destruction over submission? Martinez leaned back in her chair. Admiral, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We're not choosing destruction. We're choosing independence. You cannot achieve independence against 12 dreadnoughts with no military force. Martinez smiled the same cold smile she had shown Ambassador Zethric. Who said we have no military force? Alarms began screaming on the bridge of the Endless Victory. Korthak spun toward his tactical officer, who was staring at his instruments in shock. "Admiral," Snek shouted. "Contact. Multiple contacts." The main tactical display exploded with red warning symbols. Ships appeared from everywhere at once. They decloaked from behind asteroids, emerged from hiding spots inside the gas giant's rings, and materialized from positions that should have been empty space. "How many?" Korthak demanded. Snek's voice cracked as he answered. 2,437 ships, Admiral. And they're still appearing. The human fleet surrounded Korthak's 12 dreadnoughts in a perfect sphere. Every ship bore the same message transmitted on all frequencies. You wanted Earth's attention. You have it. Korthak had been in battles across the galaxy for over a century. He had seen the largest fleets ever assembled and faced the most advanced weapons technology. But he had never seen anything like this. The human ships were wrong. They moved too smoothly, turned too quickly, and accelerated too fast. Their hulls showed no visible weapon, ports, or engine exhausts. Most disturbing of all, they generated no energy signatures that Council sensors could recognize. "What are we looking at?" he whispered. "Unknown technology, Admiral. Our computers cannot identify their power source, weapon systems, or defensive capabilities." Martinez's voice came through the communication system again. "Admiral Korthak, you have entered human space without permission and threatened our people. This is an act of war. You cannot fight us," Korthak shouted back. "We represent the combined military might of 12 galactic civilizations. You represent 12 civilizations that have forgotten what real military might looks like." On the tactical display, the human ships began to move. They flowed around Korthak's fleet like water, taking positions with mathematical precision. Every human vessel found a perfect firing angle while staying out of their allies' way. "Admiral," Commander Snek reported, his voice filled with fear. "They have targeting locks on all our ships. Multiple locks per ship. Our shields are being analyzed by scanning beams we cannot detect or block." "Return fire," Korthak ordered. "All ships, open fire." The Council dreadnoughts unleashed everything they had. Plasma cannons that could melt through a kilometer of armor fired continuously. Missile batteries launched hundreds of warheads. Energy weapons powerful enough to crack a planet's crust reached out toward the human ships. None of it touched them. Every shot passed harmlessly through space as the human vessels moved in ways that defied physics. They did not dodge or retreat. Instead, they simply were not where the weapons fired. It was as if they existed slightly outside normal space, untouchable by conventional attacks. "Impossible," Snek breathed. "They're moving in 11 dimensions simultaneously." The human response was swift and terrifying. Beams of impossible blue light reached out from their ships and touched each Council dreadnought. The beams did not burn or explode. Instead, they simply turned off every system they touched. The Endless Victory's main weapons stopped firing. The engines shut down. The shields collapsed. Life support systems continued working, but everything related to combat, or movement, became inoperative. Across the fleet, the same thing happened to every Council ship. In 17 minutes, 12 of the most powerful warships ever built became floating metal shells, helpless and dead in space. But the crews were unharmed. The humans had been careful about that. "Admiral," Martinez said through the communication system that somehow still worked, "your ships have been disabled, not destroyed. Your crews are safe, and life support will continue operating." This was a demonstration. Korthak sat down heavily in his command chair. His proud fleet, the terror of a dozen species, had been defeated without a single human casualty. "What? What are you?" "We are what your Council created when they spent 3,000 years keeping species weak and dependent," Martinez replied. "We are what happens when you leave humans alone long enough to think. This technology should not exist. Our scientists said, faster-than-light travel was the highest achievement possible. Your scientists were wrong about many things. They were especially wrong about humans." Emergency power flickered on across the Council fleet. The humans had left them enough capability to return home, but nothing more. "Admiral," Martinez continued, "you will carry a message to your council. Tell them that humanity declines their generous offer of surrender. Tell them we prefer to remain independent. The council will send a larger fleet, 100 dreadnoughts, 1,000. Martinez's smile grew colder. "Admiral, what you fought today was not our military. These were our patrol boats. Our actual military has been busy elsewhere." The communication ended, leaving Korthak staring at a dark screen. Around his disabled fleet, the human ships began to disappear again, fading back into whatever impossible hiding places they had emerged from. Within hours, only empty space remained around Earth. The planet looked as peaceful and defenseless as before. But Korthak now knew the terrible truth. The humans had not been hiding in fear during their 30 days of silence. They had been positioning the largest fleet in galactic history exactly where they wanted it, and this had been their idea of a gentle warning. As the Council ships limped home on emergency power, Korthak wondered what humanity's full military capabilities actually looked like. He also wondered if the Council would be wise enough to avoid finding out. Somehow, he doubted it. His people had ruled the galaxy for so long that they had forgotten how to recognize when they were outmatched. The humans had just given them a lesson in power. Korthak hoped his superiors would be smart enough to learn from it, but in his heart, he suspected this was only the beginning. High Counselor Vrath stared at the holographic display showing Admiral Korthak's battered fleet limping home. The 12 most powerful warships in the galaxy looked like broken toys, their weapons systems dark, and their proud hulls scarred by unknown technology. "Impossible," he whispered for the 100th time since receiving Korthak's report. The council chamber had been in emergency session for 3 days. Representatives from all 12 species argued, planned, and tried to understand what had happened at Earth. The debate grew louder each hour. "We must assemble the full battle fleet," Commander Brack declared, his mechanical body sparking with anger. 1,000 dreadnoughts will crush these upstart humans. "Did you not hear Korthak's report?" Dr. Naila protested. "The humans disabled 12 dreadnoughts in 17 minutes without taking a single casualty. What makes you think 1,000 will fare better?" "Because numbers matter. No technology can overcome such overwhelming force." Counselor Xeris floated in her energy field, her thoughts creating worried patterns in the air. The humans said those were their patrol boats. If that is true, what does their actual military look like? Intelligence Director Thane stood at his podium, surrounded by data displays and status reports. He looked like he had not slept in days. "The situation is worse than we thought. Much worse." "Explain," Vrath ordered. Thane activated a new holographic display. It showed a map of Council space with thousands of red dots scattered throughout. "In the past 72 hours, we have been conducting detailed scans of every system under Council authority. The results are disturbing." The red dots pulsed ominously. There were so many of them that some sectors looked completely red. "What are we looking at?" asked Ambassador Zethric. "Human settlements, hidden human colonies, research stations, and monitoring posts throughout Council space. The dots represent confirmed human presence. Each one has been carefully concealed using technology we cannot understand or duplicate." The Council chamber fell silent. The implications were staggering. Dr. Naila's voice was barely a whisper. "How many?" 2,847 confirmed installations. "We believe there are many more that we have not yet detected." Vrath's 6 arms trembled slightly. "How long have they been there?" "Carbon dating of some structures suggests over 200 years. The humans have been living throughout our space since before we first detected their radio signals from Earth." Commander Brack's mechanical eyes dimmed. That means everything we thought we knew about humans is wrong," Thane finished. "They are not a primitive species that recently achieved space travel. They are not new to the galaxy. They have been here longer than some of our member civilizations have existed." Ambassador Zethric made a choking sound. "The radio signals we detected from Earth. The ones that made us think they were primitive. Deliberate misdirection. Our analysis teams now believe the signals were designed to make human civilization appear much younger and less advanced than it actually is. The chamber erupted in angry voices and frightened exclamations. Species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia suddenly faced the possibility that they had been completely deceived. "Order!" Vrath shouted, his voice carrying the authority of ages. When quiet returned, he asked the question that terrified them all. "If they have been here for centuries, why did they remain hidden?" Thane activated another display. This one showed technical readouts and improvement reports from across Council space. "We believe they have been studying us. And helping us." Helping us? Xeris's energy field flared with confusion. Over the past century, Council technology has improved steadily. Better, faster than light drives, more efficient manufacturing processes, advanced medical treatments, improved agricultural techniques. We attributed these advances to natural scientific progress. You are saying humans were responsible for our technological development? Not all of it. But our investigation suggests they have been quietly making improvements to our systems. Small modifications that we never noticed, but which kept our civilization advancing smoothly. Dr. Naila processed this information with growing horror. They were maintaining us. Like gardeners tending plants. The evidence suggests that interpretation, yes. Vrath stood slowly, his ancient body moving with the weight of terrible understanding. "Show me the military analysis." Thane's expression grew even more grim. He activated a tactical display, showing fleet positions and defensive installations throughout Council space. "This is our complete military deployment. Every base, every ship, every defensive position." The display rotated, showing the galaxy from different angles. "Now, this is human positioning, based on what we have discovered." New symbols appeared on the map. The human installations formed a perfect network throughout Council space, positioned to observe every major military base and trade route. More disturbing, many human positions had clear tactical advantage over Council defenses. "They have been watching everything," Korthak said. The Admiral had returned to brief the Council personally. His proud bearing was gone, replaced by the careful respect of someone who had seen true power. "Worse than watching," Thane corrected. "Analysis of our communication networks reveals signs of long-term monitoring and subtle modification. They have not just been observing us, they have been managing our information flow." "Managing how?" Vrath demanded. "Preventing conflicts between member species. Ensuring trade disputes did not escalate to war. Quietly resolving resource shortages before they became crises. For over a century, human intervention has been keeping Council civilization stable." Unquote. The truth hit the chamber like a cold wave. The Galactic Hegemony Council, rulers of the galaxy for 3,000 years, had been secretly managed by the species they had just tried to subjugate. "How is this possible?" Brack asked. "Our intelligence services are the finest in the galaxy. Our intelligence services have been infiltrated for generations," Thane replied. "We found evidence of human agents in every major Council organization. Not spies trying to steal secrets, but helpers ensuring our systems continued functioning efficiently." Councillor Xeris created panicked patterns in her energy field. "If they have been helping us for centuries, why reveal themselves now? Why demonstrate their military power?" "Because we threatened them," Vrath said quietly. The ancient leader looked older than his thousands of years. "We demanded their submission, without understanding what we were dealing with." Admiral Korthak stepped forward. "High Counselor, there is something else. During the engagement at Earth, their leader mentioned that what we fought were patrol boats, not their main military. What do our estimates suggest about their true capabilities?" Thane consulted his data displays. "Based on the technology demonstrated and the scope of their hidden infrastructure, we believe humans possess military capabilities that exceed the combined strength of all Council forces by a factor of at least 50 to 1. The number hung in the air like a death sentence. The Council had been preparing to wage war against an enemy that could destroy them with ease. "Recommendations?" Vrath asked weakly. "Immediate diplomatic contact," Dr. Naila suggested. "We must find a way to coexist with them. What if they refuse to negotiate? Brack asked. Then we learn what happens when a gardener decides the plants have become too troublesome. Korthak answered grimly. Vrath made his decision. Prepare a diplomatic mission. Full surrender of our previous demands. Offer them whatever terms they require for peaceful coexistence. And if they demand council territories? Xeris asked. Then we give them council territories. The alternative is the extinction of our civilizations. As the council began planning their desperate diplomatic mission, a new message arrived from Earth. It was addressed to the entire council and broadcast on all frequencies simultaneously. Secretary General Martinez appeared on the main display, still sitting at her conference table on the lunar station. She looked as calm and composed as ever. Members of the Galactic Hegemony Council, she began. We understand you are currently reassessing our relationship. To assist with your discussions, we have prepared a comprehensive briefing on the current state of galactic civilization. The transmission included detailed files about every council military installation, complete records of human assistance to council civilizations, and technical specifications for several human technologies that made council science look primitive. We hope this information will be helpful for your future planning. Martinez concluded. Our diplomatic team will be available to discuss new arrangements at your convenience. The message ended, leaving the council staring at proof of how completely they had been outmaneuvered. They had thought they were dealing with a primitive species that needed to be taught their place in the galaxy. Instead, they had discovered that the galaxy already had a caretaker species that had been politely allowing them to exist. The only question now was whether humanity would continue to be so generous. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked through the corridors of Hegemony Prime with quiet confidence. She was Secretary General Martinez's daughter, but she had earned her position as Earth's chief diplomat through years of careful work. Unlike her mother, who preferred direct confrontation, Sarah believed in the gentle approach. The council headquarters was magnificent, built from materials gathered across the galaxy and designed to inspire awe in visiting species. Towering crystal spires reached toward the sky, while floating platforms carried important officials between levels. It was meant to show the power and glory of galactic civilization. Sarah found it rather quaint. Behind her walked two human advisors carrying briefcases full of documents and data tablets. They moved with the casual ease of people who were not impressed by alien architecture. To them, this was simply another government building where they needed to conduct business. The main council chamber had been modified for this historic meeting. Instead of the usual elevated positions that placed council members above visiting species, the room had been rearranged with a circular table where everyone sat at the same level. Sarah appreciated the symbolism, even though it was probably motivated more by fear than respect. High Counselor Vrath entered first, his ancient frame moving slowly. The 3,000-year-old leader looked tired and uncertain, very different from the confident ruler who had demanded Earth's submission just weeks earlier. The other council members followed, each taking their assigned seats around the table. Ambassador Zethric sat directly across from Sarah. His four eyes avoided meeting her gaze, and his usually proud bearing seemed diminished. The alien who had threatened humanity with extinction now looked like someone who understood how close he had come to making a fatal mistake. Ambassador Chen, Vrath began formally, the Council thanks you for agreeing to these negotiations. We hope to reach an understanding that benefits all parties. Sarah smiled politely. High Counselor, we appreciate the Council's willingness to reconsider their previous position. Earth values peaceful relationships with all galactic civilizations. Before we begin, Dr. Nayla interrupted, may I ask about your mother? Secretary General Martinez was quite direct in her communications. Mother prefers clarity in her dealings, Sarah replied diplomatically. She felt it important that the Council understand humanity's position without any confusion. I prefer to focus on solutions rather than problems. Commander Brack leaned forward, his mechanical body whirring softly. Your proposal suggests that humans will not seek council membership or authority over our territories. That is correct. Earth has no interest in governing other species or claiming council worlds. We simply wish to continue our activities without interference. And those activities include expansion to new systems? Asked Counselor Xeris. Among other things, yes. Humans require room to grow and explore. We will continue establishing colonies and research facilities as we see fit. Ambassador Zethric finally spoke, his voice carefully controlled. What about our territorial boundaries? The Council has spent millennia mapping and assigning systems throughout the galaxy. Sarah consulted a data tablet. We have reviewed the Council's territorial claims and found them interesting. However, humans have been present in many of those systems for over 2 centuries. We will respect Council authority over worlds actively inhabited by member species, but uninhabited systems are open to human settlement. Some of those systems are strategic resources for our civilizations, Brack protested. And humans will continue to ensure those resources remain available to you, Sarah replied calmly. As we have for the past century. The room fell quiet as the Council members absorbed this reminder of their dependence on human assistance. High Counselor Vrath cleared his throat. Ambassador Chen, your briefing materials suggest that human technology is significantly more advanced than our previous estimates indicated. That would be accurate. May I ask why humanity chose to conceal this from us? Sarah set down her tablet and folded her hands on the table. High Counselor, when humans first encountered evidence of galactic civilization, we faced a choice. We could announce ourselves as another expansionist species competing for resources and territory, or we could observe and understand what we were dealing with. You chose to spy on us. We chose to learn from you. The galaxy had been at peace for 3,000 years under Council guidance. That was an impressive achievement. We wanted to understand how you maintained that peace. Dr. Naila leaned forward with interest. And what did you learn? That the Council system worked well for species that wanted stability above growth, order above innovation, and safety above freedom. But humans, we are different. How so? Sarah smiled, but it was not entirely friendly. We do not accept limitations that others impose on us. We do not believe that peace requires submission. And we certainly do not believe that any species has the right to govern another without consent. Yet you have been governing us, Zethric accused. Your people have been manipulating our society for generations. We have been helping, Sarah corrected firmly. Every improvement we made to your technology was beneficial. Every crisis we prevented saved lives. Every conflict we resolved peacefully protected your civilizations from war. Without our knowledge or consent, would you have preferred we let your civilizations collapse? The question hung in the air. Several Council members exchanged uncomfortable glances. Commander Brock finally answered. You could have revealed yourselves and offered assistance openly. Could we? Your first response to discovering a new species was to demand their complete surrender. What would you have done if you knew humans were more advanced than you? No one answered, but everyone knew the truth. The Council would have seen humans as a threat to be eliminated. So what happens now? Vrath asked. Sarah activated a holographic projector in the center of the table. A 3-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared, showing Council territories, human settlements, and uninhabited systems. The Council will continue governing member species and their territories exactly as before. Human settlements will be marked as independent zones. Future expansion by both humans and Council species will follow established protocols to avoid conflicts. What if disputes arise? Xeris asked. They will be resolved through negotiation, as civilized species do. And if negotiation fails? Sarah's smile grew colder. Then we will remember that humans prefer to solve problems permanently. The threat was subtle but unmistakable. The Council had seen what human problem-solving looked like. Vrath studied the galactic map carefully. This arrangement seems reasonable. But I must ask directly, Ambassador Chen, if the Council accepts these terms, will humanity continue to assist our civilizations as you have in the past? Of course. Stable neighbors are good neighbors. We have no interest in seeing Council worlds suffer economic collapse or social unrest. And if we refuse these terms? Sarah looked genuinely puzzled by the question. Why would you refuse? This arrangement allows the Council to maintain authority over your territories, while humans continue their own development. Everyone benefits. But what if we do refuse? Sarah gathered her documents and prepared to stand. High Counselor, I think there has been another misunderstanding. We are not here to negotiate whether this arrangement will be implemented. We are here to explain how it will work. The distinction sent chills through the room. You see, Sarah continued conversationally, humans have already established the framework for galactic coexistence. Council approval would be appreciated, but it is not required. She stood and nodded politely to each council member. We hope you find these terms acceptable. If you have any concerns or suggestions for improvement, please contact our diplomatic office. As Sarah prepared to leave, Dr. Nyla called out desperately, Ambassador, how many humans are there really? Your briefings mention billions on Earth, but what about your colonies? Sarah paused at the chamber doors. An excellent question. Our last census counted approximately 40 billion humans across all our settlements. The council members gasped. They had believed Earth contained humanity's entire population. 40 billion? Vrath whispered. Yes. Though that number is somewhat outdated. We conduct a census every 50 years, and the next one is not due for another decade. Where are they all living? Oh, everywhere, Sarah replied cheerfully. Earth has about 3 billion people, mostly in our underground cities and ocean habitats. The surface cities you can see are just for maintaining appearances. The rest live throughout the galaxy. She gestured casually at the holographic map. Those 2,000 settlements you discovered? Those are just our research stations and monitoring posts. Our actual colonies are much better hidden. Ambassador Zethric's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. How many colonies? I should not reveal sensitive information, Sarah said thoughtfully. But since we are establishing a new spirit of cooperation, our colonization department manages approximately 12,000 settled systems. The number was so large that several council members looked physically ill. 12,000 systems? Brack repeated weakly. Well, inhabited systems. We have research installations or resource extraction operations in another 30,000 systems. But those do not really count as colonies, since fewer than 1 million people live there. Sarah opened the chamber doors. Oh. And Counselor Vrath? You asked what would happen if you refused our terms. The honest answer is that we would be disappointed. Humans prefer cooperation to conflict. She paused in the doorway. But if you forced us to choose between your comfort and human freedom, we would choose human freedom. Every time. In every situation. Without hesitation. The Council has ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years, Vrath said, a note of desperate pride in his voice. Sarah looked back at him with something that might have been sympathy. High Counselor. The Council has maintained local order for 3,000 years, while humans built a galactic civilization. You have ruled yourselves. We have simply allowed you to believe it was the whole galaxy. The doors closed behind her, leaving the Council in silence. Later, as her transport prepared to return to Earth, Sarah reviewed reports from human settlements across the galaxy. Everything was proceeding normally. Trade continued smoothly. Research projects advanced on schedule, and new colonies reported successful establishment. Her aide, a young man named David, looked nervous. Ambassador, do you think the Council will accept the new arrangement? Sarah gazed out at the stars, where human ships moved invisibly through the darkness between worlds. David, the Council accepted our arrangement the moment they realized they could not change it. Everything else is just paperwork. And if they had chosen to fight? Sarah's expression grew serious. Then we would have shown them why 40 billion humans spread across 42,000 systems prefer to remain friends rather than become enemies. She returned to her reports. The galaxy was vast, and there was always more work to be done. Somewhere out there, new worlds waited to be explored, new knowledge waited to be discovered, and new challenges waited to be overcome. The Council could maintain their illusion of authority if they chose. Humans had more important things to accomplish. After all, the galaxy was very large, and there were other galaxies beyond it, and humans had always been explorers.